Hello, people. It's not me, it's Aaron. Aaron's here, Aaron English. And he will be listening to the song today and analyze it. Wait, let me click on the screen here so we don't see all this crap. There we go. And give you his opinion of what he would do to the song if you don't know who you are yet, came to him and said, work with me, how can we improve my song? Today's song is by Sweetwater from Finland, who already wrote the Winter Wonderland song that won him a pot go from line 6. So there it is, and this is what it sounds like.
Beautiful in yellowed photo in a family album. The picture fades before it disappears. Distorted memories cause sadness and tears. Misery that rest, sin on our chest. But even the worst memories decades made to best. For what reason we are walking heads down. Everyone is watching screen of high-tech cell phone. 21st century China plastic world where the kids are screaming, yelling we want more and more. Kicking, hitting, doing what they want to do. Have no say, no sense of justice, no respect for you. Addictions of cell phone use, abuse of medication. No more instinct of self-preservation. Living in a haze is not the main decision. Number of drugs, mind in the fog. Invisible wall, built with drops. Prescribed by a doctor who claims to be sorry. Still owns an island paid with coral bribery. 21st century China plastic world where the kids are screaming, yelling I want more and more. Kicking, hitting, doing what they want to do. Have no say, no sense of justice, no respect for you. Just few words, silly stuff, I don't get it, they go rough. Everything is looking huge when you look up from grassroots. Useless China plastic toys, filling our home, not my choice. Restless to focus on anything, nothing is ever enough for him. 21st century, China plastic world where the kids are screaming, yelling I want more and more. Kicking, hitting, doing what they want to do. Have no say, no sense of justice, no respect for you.
Thanks, UC. Congratulations on the Winter Wonderland success. And I have not heard that. I need to go back. Is it called Winter Wonderland?
Yeah, I might have it somewhere.
Mm-hmm. And congratulations on the new song. My first notes would be about lyrics, and I was advised that might be the case. If English is not your first language, that's not a problem. You do need to, if you're writing in English, have a consistent aesthetic and a consistent voice. And the first issue I see here is I'm not clear on what the song is about, meaning there are 2, maybe 3 different themes, and they're I think you start off really strong with a verse that sets up a longing for a past. With the first, I guess this would be the first and second verse. Would you call it that? Before you go into a chorus?
1, 2, yeah.
Yeah. I love the idea. I think it's a really strong. Thank you for adding that. I think it's a really strong idea. But it seems to pivot a little bit in the chorus to focusing more on what quote unquote kids these days have going on, the challenges that they're faced with, and the drawbacks of being a distracted kid in the modern world, which verse 1 and 2 are really talking about us and how all of us are challenged by a crisis of attention and the distractions of technology. And then the chorus kind of blames that on the kids, or focuses more on the kids are the problem, or that technology has turned the kids into a problem. So I'm torn. The very first thing I think you need to get out of the way is you need to pick a path, pick a direction. Can we scroll down to the next verse? I would also suggest shortening the verse here. We've already heard verse 1, verse 2. Now we come through a chorus. I would say, how about just a verse 3 and then get to the chorus again? I mean, that's kind of a pop aesthetic that I'm speaking from. We already know the verse melody. We already kind of know what the song is about. So a lot of times a song will have a shorter second, in this case, a shorter second verse, or in this case, you would lop off verse 4. You could move it elsewhere in the song, but we're already anticipating the chorus here because we've already heard it. I would say, get back to the chorus sooner. You can use that verse elsewhere, later in the song. The other edit I would recommend right off the bat is the instrumental section that has that wonderful flute solo that I love. I couldn't tell whether it was a synthesizer, whether it was a real flute. Either way, it's killer. I think that's, to me, dead space. I would go straight into the next section there instead of that. So you drop out of the chorus right into the next verse, out of verse 3 right into the chorus, and then the song can open up. I love where you go with the bridge. I think it's melodically really interesting. I think lyrically, a bridge needs to come at the theme of the song from a new angle, and I think you did a great job of that. A fantastic job, actually. So melodically, it's different. Lyrically, it doesn't just say the same thing over again. If you wanted to have room for the fourth verse and or the flute solo, you've got room here. The bridge is so interesting and so different, melodically and lyrically, and then all that's left for the song is another chorus, and then the song is over. I think you've got room here after the bridge. Have an instrumental interlude, maybe go into another verse and then the chorus. Or you could come up with some sort of ride out. Usually a ride out takes elements of the verse or elements of the chorus and just extends it, maybe with a new melodic hook, or maybe with just repeating one of the key lyric lines over and over again. It felt like the song ended too soon for me. And I felt like the front end of the song took too long to develop. So I think you've got enough material here. You could just start moving parts around. It is a complex song. I think it's complex enough to be interesting, but it takes too long to get to those interesting parts. There's too much repetition from the start. Speaking of the start, I thought the instrumental intro was fine, but once I heard the flute solo, I thought, that's the melodic hook. What if that was right at the head of the song? So that immediately there was some melodic interest. Right now, it's just comping the verse chords, setting up the verse, which is fine. And it's a really interesting, I think, an incredibly interesting progression. It's begging for a melody, I would say. And you've already got one in the flute.
Now, Aaron, why did I change that from an A sharp to a B flat?
Yeah, good question. Right off the bat, I want to hear your answer. But first, you don't need to know theory in order to write a song. But if you look at charts on the web, you will always see that someone is sticking with, and this would be the most basic theory reason, you want to stick in a world of flats or a world of sharps. Any scale is going to stick in, just for the sake of consistency, in a flat world or a sharp world. So you want to write the song either in A sharp or in B flat, and all of the chords would follow. I say that just from the perspective of somebody who wants to make clear that you don't need to know theory in order to write a song. But you will see over and over again, if you look at charts on the web, songs inhabit either a flat world or a sharp world. I think that's
if it was in a sharp world, A sharp as a key would have 10 sharps or something like that. So it's just it doesn't make an awful lot of sense, since the tonal center is B flat or major or G minor, which are relative. We are in a flat world, as you put it. So it makes sense to say this is B flat major,
mm-hmm.
and then everything would be flat. You can do A sharp, but if you were to write this down, you'd have, I think, 6, 7, 8, 9, I think 10 or 11 sharps. Nobody wants to see that.
It would not be easy to read. It's harder to tell with a chart here. If you were looking at it written out on staff paper, it would be unnecessarily complicated.
And at a certain point, if you know chord progressions and you know chord relationships, you know what a 1 and a 4 and a 5 is, and we talk about this all the time, then you wouldn't see it as A sharp and D sharp. You would actually recognize it as a B flat, D flat, E flat, as a 1 and a 4 and a 5, because that's just with experience comes seeing that and then immediately seeing that's a 1 and a 4 and a 5. If we saw an A sharp, we wouldn't necessarily recognize it as that. So when I see B flat and G minor, I know immediately that's a 1, that's a 6. If I saw an A sharp, I'd be like, where am I here? Even though technically it's the same thing.
Technically it is. And you don't necessarily want to get technical in these sessions, only because then you could get off onto a tangent. But if you...
We get very technical here.
Okay, cool.
That's the idea.
Great. I've never seen a song written in A sharp. Maybe I should have just said that. And there are reasons, and we could get into those. And he did, and I love it. I'm guessing you are a piano songwriter. I'm just guessing because there was no guitar as the lead instrument here. As a pianist, you will gravitate towards certain keys because they're just easier to play. And B flat is one of my favorite keys. It's every key has its own mood, its own flavor. I'm not familiar with the mood of A sharp because I've literally never seen it. But there may be composers out there who are very intentionally saying, I'm going to write in A sharp.
Masochists.
And here are my reasons. Yeah.
Let's look at the first verse. Let's look at, we look at rhyme schemes, and maybe make some suggestions lyrically what we could do. There is a rhyme, and he's trying to do this. Let's look at it. We have an XXAA, so no rhyme and a rhyme in the same thing here.
Well,
actually,
look in verse 2. So he's got rhyming pairs here.
So there's AABB. So the question is, why not here?
I think he tried the way he sang it. That was my impression, that he was trying to.
Beautiful, an album is pushing it.
Yeah.
Also, in family, it would actually be a family album. You would do an if there was a vowel there, but not with family.
Leave it to the German to know English grammar better than the American.
Well, you do a whatever, but n if there's an a o a e whatever. That's just because that just flows better.
Yeah.
I like the picture he draws. I like a yellowed photo in a family album. That is beautiful.
Go Henning.
I love it. Okay. The word is looking misty beautiful. Not really English, but I love where you're going. This right there, that's gold. So I would go for, let's make it all as good as that line. The picture fades before it disappears. I'm good with this. Cause sadness and tears is like the rhyme that a 12-year-old would do. So if we could make that stronger, let's focus on this. How could you make this section stronger? What would you do there?
Well, he's talking about blurring or fading. What if the distorted memories are through the tears? What if there's blurring going on? Distorted memories. You see through a world of tears, so that you have the picture fading and distorting as you are looking through the tears at it. That would get away from redundancy. Sadness and tears, you're basically saying the same thing. And if you want to be really ruthless as a songwriter, you want to always give new information. There's nothing wrong with cause sadness and tears, but you're kind of saying the same thing.
You just said it. You said through the tears. So if we had a word here, distorted memories, something through the tears. Breaking through the tears?
Great. Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm happier with that.
It could even be something as simple as scene. I love that you started verse 1 with a clear image, and then the clear image gets broken up. So you've created a really strong visual to start this out, and then you break up the visual. So breaking. With this verse 2, I'm less engaged because I don't have a strong visual to attach to until those last 2 lines. We're walking with our heads down. Everyone is watching the screen of the cell phone. I'm good with Dawn and phone. I think that's a fine rhyme. I'm not seeing enough new information come in at the beginning of the second verse. I don't know what the misery is. I don't know what the worst memories are. So you've lost me a little bit. You reel me back in with the last 2 lines of the verses. We're all walking down, looking at the screens of our cell phones. We can clean up the lyrics a bit here, just from an English grammar perspective. But right off the bat, I'm more sold on the second 2 lines. The first 2, just not sure where you're going with this, and I'm not sure that you're saying anything new.
Well, I, for example, don't like the idea that he's saying memories here and then memories again.
True, yeah. I'd say if it's critical, you use the same word a couple lines later. You can get away with it. But I'm not clear that this is you're putting your best foot forward. I'm wondering, since I talked about maybe having too many verses further down, whether we could steal from a later verse. What if, for instance, it all depends on what you're trying to say. So I don't want to start suggesting that you move things around too much because you have a vision for this song. But I see the first 2 lines of the third verse, and I wonder, what if we put those in the second verse? Then you have a very consistent second verse. It follows the first verse nicely, I think, where you're looking at an old photo, the picture fades, and you're left with sadness. The memories are distorted.
So I think we might have to, because comes addictions, you obviously can't say.
Right.
Either would be time passes by, but I think you could say with passing time, there come addictions. That flows as a line.
Yeah. And the second line of cell phone use, abusive medication, would you change that?
I don't like addictions, medication. Medication isn't a great power position word. Then again, what rhymes with addiction?
Right. You're saying it's not a great rock and roll word?
If I sang medication, I probably wouldn't put it as the last word in my line.
Yeah. If you were to keep it, cell phones become our medication.
See, yep. Still doesn't rhyme, but better. And a very clear picture.
Mm-hmm. I would suggest that we, for now, get rid of the next 2 lines, the misery and the worst memories lines. Only because I don't know what you're trying to say. Maybe they could be useful later in the song. This, to me, looks more consistent.
For other reason, I don't. Walking heads down, I get. I like that.
Yeah.
But for other reasons, I don't understand what that's supposed to mean.
Yeah, I'm not sure where you're going with that. We are walking with our heads down. Everyone's watching their cell phone, the screen of their cell phone. Let's do some surgery here.
That's what he means. They're not walking head down because of sadness. They're walking head down because they're staring into their phone.
Well done.
For other reasons.
Yes, of course.
Okay.
Good work, Henning.
Yeah, but it took too long to figure it out. You can't expect people to put in that much thought into lyrics. It needs to be clearer.
Right. If it was, that's not the reason we're walking with our heads down, for instance. But we've already changed some lines on him. For him.
That's why he's here. He's taking the abuse. He wants to know how to make the song good.
I loved that you figured that out. And okay, the line makes perfect sense now. That's not the reason we're walking with our heads down. That's nice.
So then let's do this. That's not that's...
Well, since we've changed some lyrics around.
Walking with our heads. That's a long line now. We're walking with our heads down. I don't even know if we can still sing that.
We can get rid of our. That's not the reason we are walking with heads down.
Oh, yeah, that's nice.
That's like it's got a David Gilmour vibe.
You know you're going to have to sing all this and put it together, right?
Yeah.
Look, if I sing in these videos, which is horrible because I don't know how to sing, then you can most certainly do it. You're saying down in phone works?
Yeah.
I'm waiting for you to make that work. Because it's pushing it.
It's Finnish English. It's Finglish.
Finglish.
It totally works. Everyone watching the screen of our cell phone.
Yeah, high tech. We don't need high tech. Cell phone's fine.
Let's go with we.
We're watching
instead of everyone, because that puts some distance here. What we're saying is it's our problem. It's
the screens.
Well, it depends on how he sings it. If he's in the room here, we say, "Okay, try this."
Well, we'll play.
We're all watching the screens of our cell phones.
Yeah.
That's not the reason we are walking with heads down. We're all watching the screens of our cell phones. Again, it depends on how you sing it.
Maybe even get rid of this.
Yeah.
Because of a simple reason, cell phone is American. mobile phone is British.
Handy is
Handy
German.
is German. So by saying cell phone, you're geographically limiting it to the US. By just saying phones, you're making it internationally viable. I think that automatically just makes it simpler.
Yeah, we may need another syllable or two. So we are watching the screens, or we are all watching.
We're all yeah, that's good. Let's listen to his first verse again, just to get into it, and then see how we can implement what we've changed.
The world is looking misty, beautiful, in yellowed photo in a family album. The picture fades before it disappears. Distorted memories cause sadness and tears. Misery that pressed, sin on our chest. But even the worst memories, decays made to rest. For what reason we are walking heads down. Everyone is watching screen of high-tech cell phone.
Okay, so I think we could probably. You're right about the chord progression. That's golden. Like oftentimes that's something where I got to go and say, bring more movement into it or change something, or even the chord progression isn't really all in the same key. And they're immediately throwing in some modal interchange and secondary dominance and whatever. Chord progression is golden. Melodically, it's like da-da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da. It's a little bit simple, going up, going down, going up, going down, and becoming very predictable. So let's see what you would do.
I'm gonna catch so much flack for saying there's no guitar in the song.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Obviously, there's guitar in the song because you are on my channel. So first of all, he didn't hear it. What does he know? Don't listen to his thing he says.
The keyboardist.
And secondly, obviously, you sent this to me, which means you watch my channel. There's no keyboards on my channel. So, Aaron, here we go.
It does have this beautiful, dark, early goth vibe. Cure, whatever. It's a great little dirge vibe. I love it. Suits the mood of the lyrics perfectly. The world is looking misty beautiful, in yellowed photos in a family album. The picture fades before it disappears. Distorted memories breaking through the tears. With passing time there come addictions. Cell phones become our medication. That's not the reason we are walking with heads down. We're all watching the screens of our phones. And then 20th century China plastic world. Whoa, let's hear that.
Everyone is watching screen of high-tech cell phone. 21st century China plastic world, where the kids are screaming, yelling, we want more and more. Kicking, hitting, doing what they want to do. Have no say, no sense of justice, no respect for you.
I gotta admit, I love the first line.
Yeah.
I think the first line visually is super strong. 21st century China plastic world. We're not anti-Chinese, but obviously we know what he's trying to say.
Well said, yes.
And melodically, I mean, I would have never dared to sing 21st century China plastic world, but he makes it work.
It's a great hook.
So I want to keep that strength, and then he's losing me, but just then going on to So it seems it's a problem I've just encountered in the last couple of songs, where there's a really strong hook, but then the rest of the chorus is treated like a verse. So pattern recognition. Remember, guys, pattern recognition. Recognize when you've got something great. Music is about repetition. Bring it back. So I want to hear that 21st Century China Plastic World at least one more time in the chorus. So 21st Century China Plastic World. Do we have to say where the kids are screaming, yelling, we want more and more? Could it be enough to just say we want more and more? You've got it right in front of you. Just, it's there, so you look in the camera, Aaron. He's new to this.
I'm wondering whether we can rob some lyrics from elsewhere in the song again. I thought the kids are screaming, yelling, we want more and more, could work. It was the third and fourth line that weren't working for me, because I think we're getting off topic. I think we're getting way off topic. Now it's about the kids are a problem. And I'm not seeing that in the rest of the song. I'm seeing that we are all challenged by the same issues. And then suddenly it's, no, the kids are challenged. Or rather, the kids are the challenge. They are the problem. That's a different song.
So I'm going to do this, which I haven't really done in these lessons. I want a rhyme. I want something with world. I think we need more rhymage. So let's see what we can come up with. World. Lyrics and poems near rhymes. Thesaurus. Nope. Why is world difficult to rhyme with?
You can do a near rhyme, or you do something like unfurled.
It's a chorus. You know, you need power words. You need strong words. Observe, return, learned.
Learned, I'm totally down with.
In the sense of, have we learned nothing?
Learned, yes.
Yeah, learned.
Absolutely, yes, absolutely,
or earned in the sense of, kids nowadays are entitled and think they deserve everything, and respect needs to be earned. Something, you know, along those lines.
There's also returned.
You want to return the kids?
Well, right.
I'm sure some parents would be happy about that.
I don't want to return to that part where I said there was no guitar in this song. Anyway, moving right along. Do we want to return to what was going on in the first couple of lines of the first verse? Where are we going with this chorus? Where are we going with this song? Can we scroll down to the verse 4? And then the bridge. Let's look at the bridge. So again, we've still got several different directions lyrically, like multiple themes that are coming up, and they're running parallel, and we need to choose one. Useless China plastic toys filling our home, not my choice.
I like that.
I think that's killer.
Very, very, very good.
Yeah. But then the next two lines are, let's to focus on anything, nothing is ever enough for him. So I think we're back at criticizing the kids. What if we just move forward with the theme of we had it good, and now we are distracted and exhausted by this China plastic world we have built for ourselves that replaces what was in the first verse. I think that's the direction, which means got to get rid of the second, third, and fourth lines. The second line, I thought, yeah, maybe that could work. Does it feel strong enough to you?
No,
Or we're all screaming?
I wouldn't go towards the kids.
Mm-hmm.
I would really, what you just said, we paint a picture of how it was, and now we're in the China plastic world, and we paint that picture.
So you're staying with we as the subject of the song, whereas the kids would be, you're bringing in another character. It's not the kids that are screaming, it's us. So we are screaming, yelling, we want more. 21st century China plastic world. We are screaming, yelling, we want more and more. Maybe screaming and yelling is a little redundant. We are screaming, begging.
Okay.
Century China plastic world. We're screaming, begging, we want more and more.
That still feels clunky to me. It feels to me that there should be a rhyme already.
More kind of rhymes with world.
No, not in my book.
I would try to get away with that for sure.
More in world.
Yeah.
Just because it's round doesn't mean it actually sounds the same, okay? And O doesn't always sound the same, Aaron.
Randy Newman.
I don't know who that is. What did he ever do?
He had a Broadway musical, his first Broadway musical. He was really proud of it. And his debut after the musical, he was in the lobby. Irving Berlin came up to him. He had invited Irving Berlin, who was his god, his songwriting god. And he was like, so what did you think? Berlin walked up to him and said, girl, world, they don't rhyme. Shame on you. His point was, Irving Berlin was still stuck in the 1930s. I'm going to say world and more. They rhyme close enough.
Girl and world absolutely rhyme.
Okay. All right.
Because, we talk about this in our lyric part of the songwriting course, which is this whole thing, you should buy this, when it's out late in the year. But we're teaching just because something looks the same in the English language doesn't mean it sounds the same. And just because things don't look the same, like girl and world, it doesn't mean they don't rhyme. And in a rhyming dictionary, things are not listed by what they look like, but actually what they sound like. So girl and world very much rhymes. World and more, I want to hear you make that work.
21st century China plastic world. We're screaming, begging, we want more and more. You don't hear that? Okay.
No, I really don't hear that.
I'd want to scroll down, see some more possible rhymes. Scroll down to the rhyme zone.
Heard.
Oh yeah. Okay. Nice. Yeah. Like as we take our place in the herd, as they're leading the herd to slaughter, I think. Shuffle.
I don't know. Not great, but
I'd like to see something. The issue I have with moving slowly is it isn't active enough. It isn't urgent enough.
It's not actually saying anything.
Well,
doesn't get us anywhere. All the social media and all that stuff.
Okay.
It doesn't get us anywhere. It feels like there's movement. It feels like the herd's going somewhere, but it isn't.
Standing still.
Oh wait, moving.
Standing in place.
Just with the herd is tough
All right,
to say.
yeah, let's do it.
With the.
Yeah.
You can make it work.
I hear the bleating of the. Okay, third line. I hear the bleating of the sheep.
Didn't you just say world and girl rhymes?
Oh, you want girl in here?
I don't know. I'm just saying it's a rhyme.
Let's have some more rhyme zone. Let's spin the wheel of rhyme zone some more. Digging through the mud and ignoring all the pearls.
But should we bring back the first line again as a third line and then that as the fourth line?
Yes, we should.
And then
And that's not a criticism of the direction of the other directions. I just think you've got 2 or 3 songs in here.
Yeah. Again, this is what I would do, this process, if he was here and said, let's work on the song, let's produce the song, what would you do?
Mm-hmm.
This is why songwriters come to me and say, let's work on something. And it's not just to hit record, but actually, use the experience and let's work with something. Obviously, it's easier when you have the songwriter in the room and you can play off them. But in this case, that's what we're doing. We're not saying do this, but that's why you sent me the song. You guys know.
There are an infinite possibilities. And of course, if the songwriter's in the room, then they get to choose from finite possibilities. Right now, we're stabbing in the dark in a particular direction.
And we're trying to do it in a condensed way so it fits in a video.
And this is important. We're moving towards what inspires us. We're looking at what's already there and saying, oh, that gets me. It hits me right here. Let's go with that. So we're following our instincts based on, that was a great line. I love that melody. I love that lyric. I love that visual. Let's take that and move it forward. So that may be the most valuable thing here. It's somebody listening to the song, looking at the lyrics and going, oh, that's cool. Because that's what you want. You want somebody to go, oh, you want them to lean forward into that line.
And maybe we add something to the end with that. See how you would do that?
21st century China plastic world, standing still, I'm moving with the world. 21st century China plastic world, digging through the mud, ignoring all the pearls in the 21st century China. 21st century China plastic world.
Yeah,
it's something along those lines.
21st century China plastic world.
Yeah, like a turnaround.
So that would be A flat, C minor. Maybe
In a 21st century China plastic world.
so A flat, C minor, B flat, and then back to that tonic to resolve, of course.
Plastic world.
Is he doing A flat major?
A flat major, yeah.
And
C
have we
minor.
talked about this? I think we've talked about this. That's a flat 7. Flat 7 major. Do you know why that works?
Tell us.
We talk about this shit. It's a modal interchange chord borrowed from B flat mixo, which is why the chord scale would be Lydian over that A flat. But that's way too far. So here's the thing: we're in B flat major, right? And A flat doesn't belong in the key of B flat. It's in the key of B flat. It would actually be an A diminished. But if we look at the key of B flat with one note different, and that would be B flat mixo, where it's B flat with a minor 7, then we can see B flat as the 5. What would be the 4? It would be A flat major. So if for one chord we're jumping from B flat major, B flat Ionian, to B flat mixo, for which we only have to change one note, we can borrow a chord from there. We could borrow any chord, but the chord that usually is borrowed is the flat 7. So we're calling it flat 7 in B flat. If we were in mixo, B flat would be the 5, and we're borrowing the 4. Same thing, 5, 4, 1, 7. You get it? So that's why that works, and it's a really cool thing you can do. You could actually also do, you could do I like doing a 4, 5, flat 6, flat 7.
Mm-hmm.
Big ass,
Wow.
all, if you really want to have a big ramp,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that would work there on the plastic. Probably too much. So you can borrow a little bit more if you have to. But so Aaron did the flat 7 there.
change the 21th to the 21st.
Oh,
That's just the finish.
I haven't even seen this the whole time.
Mm.
Okay, do it one more time, and then we're out of here.
21st century China plastic world. Standing still, I'm moving with the herd. 21st century China plastic world. Digging through the mud, ignoring all the pearls. In the 21st century China plastic world.
And then I would drop immediately into the next verse.
Mm-hmm.
There was that killer flute solo section there. I wasn't ready for it. I loved it, but I wanted to get right back to the story.
It's the way that it is now has more form. We've got the song title repeated more. It doesn't yet sound like a chorus to me. I would want to work on that. Every time you go to that F, it's not right. It's not that lifting me up chorus feeling. It's not a verse, but it's not a chorus yet. It's missing that strength that I wanna just sing that. It burrows itself into my brain. So we would want to work on that more. But you get the idea. Thanks to Aaron for hanging out with us and doing a guest spot. We'll be when he's back from the tour sometime. I don't know when that is.
Right.
On what day? I have no idea.
I'm on tour. I'm on a 40-day European tour, which I got to say I was driving all day. I just want to drop that in here in case somebody brings up the guitar thing.
Oh no, you get reamed for that. Absolutely. There's no guitar in this. He must be a keyboard player.
Yes.
So Rafa and I will be grilling him on his songs and analyzing his songs just like we did this. So be prepared for that, Aaron.
Yes.
And he'll be part of the songwriting course, which you can purchase for your hard-earned money later in the year. You'd rather spend it on this than China plastic 21st century world crap, right?
Which is such a strong lyric hook.
Yeah, it is.
Let's go down to the bridge one more time. I love melodically how different the bridge is. I think it's got a lot of promise.
Wait. No.
Yeah.
They couldn't see it.
Yeah. Okay. If we had to do the 15-second critique of the bridge, bravo on bringing the song somewhere else melodically. A lot of the lyrics, I'm not sure where you're going with them. The useless China plastic toys filling our home, not my choice. That totally fits with the direction that we've tried to bring to this, just to focus it a little more.
I love that. Everything's looking huge when you look up from the roots.
Yep.
That's great.
Yes, it is. I'm not sure what he's talking about.
But it sounds really good.
Yeah, it sure does. Yeah. Maybe if you cut the bridge in half, you got useless China plastic toys filling our home, not my choice. That's pretty cool. That's where you start to stand up and get angry and push back at what's happening.
I would actually do this.
Okay.
Then it's more one line.
Filling our homes, it was never our choice. That was never our choice. And I say our instead of my, because the rest of the song is really focused on us. All of us are struggling with this. There's a lot of we. So it's all of us that are deciding to rebel. I think maybe that's the direction of the bridge is, hey, wait a minute. Enough. This is not okay. We are not going to live like this. I'm not sure where the everything is looking huge when you look up from the roots comes in. But you're right. It's a super, super cool couple of lines. And the bridge is always supposed to bring another perspective. It's supposed to move the story forward. And maybe the story is we're rising up. Fill our homes, this is not our choice. Time to fight back. Time to say it's enough. That to me would be satisfying, because then the bridge is taking us somewhere hopeful and it's taking us somewhere angry. Whereas the the first half of the song is, we left the past behind. We miss it. We're crying about it. It's a great first verse idea. And the second one is, we are totally lost in this world. And you go to the chorus, it's, thank you, scrolling down, that we're so focused on those phones that we can't see anything beyond them. So we think we're moving, but really we're standing still. We think that we found the treasure. It's right here, but we're ignoring the pearls in front of us because we're just so busy digging through the mud on Instagram. I think that's really strong. If the bridge or the verses we never got to later in the song were about now we change, or now we fight back, or that we have choices ahead of us, I think that's super strong.
I gotta always come back to the thing that you're supposed to buy. So in the course and lyric writing, we're talking about in the bridge. That's your last chance in the song to actually bring new lyrics, because usually your last chorus, unless you're using different chorus lyrics, is repetition. So the bridge is pretty much your last chance to actually bring a solution or a resolution. So the bridge could, we had, this is the past, this is our situation we're stuck in now. If you don't resolve it, if you don't actually bring a proactive idea in the bridge, then you're leaving people stuck with the world sucks. Okay? So, which you can make it much worse, but it's a good idea to use the bridge lyrically to actually turn it around, say, okay, this is how it used to be, this is where now, do this, or if we did this, or here's a suggestion. A little bit of an uplifting thing, because when the last chorus comes in, usually the chorus can have different lyrics, especially the last one, but usually it is the same thing. So the bridge is where you bring your solution, your change.
Great.
But to know more about this, you have to, of course, buy the course, obviously. We're giving everything away. That's dumb.
To sum up, really strong lyric concept. Again, you had 2 or 3 different songs that you just need to pull them apart. Not only is 21st Century China Plastic World great, but I love the story. The first verse creates us, we're misty-eyed looking back at the past. And then we're misty-eyed staring at our phones, blind to everything else. It's such a strong symbolism. I would advise, if you're going to rework this, go with the visuals. Go with the stuff that you can see and feel. The rest of the stuff, I think you can get rid of. No more instinct of self-preservation. Living in a haze is not a made decision. That's taking that from the third verse. Nothing wrong with those lyrics. But what we were drawn to was the visuals. Verse 4, there's some juicy stuff in there. You switch the theme away from cell phones to prescriptions, to medications. I think that has some real potential if you choose to develop that.
But that's the thing. I think there's the kids.
There's too much.
The phones. There's too much. A little bit of focus.
Yes. And I do love the vibe. I love your production choices. I brought up the first couple of Cure albums. Was it really dreamy and vibey, and melancholy and dark? There's kind of a goth vibe to this, and not too much, so that it doesn't sound like early '80s English rock, but it feels like that trudging of the herd, marching forward to their blissfully unaware of their doom, or of the melancholy reality they're trapped in. Perfect. The choice of instruments and the choice of production. Yes, absolutely fits the mood of your lyrics. Great work.
And with that, we say goodbye. And animals at the end.
Where?
At the end, there's always animals.
Is the herd?
I can put cows there. I have cows.
Awesome.